Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? And can you see the whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Can you see these graphs
Yes,
in
sir.
Microsoft Whiteboard? Okay, fine. So last class we started discussing towards the end about demand. Then we brought here the issue of supply. Then finally we brought both demand and supply together. We started discussing both demand and supply together. So when we are bringing both demand and supply together, ultimately, because here we were talking about price lag in case of supply, but in case of demand, it was a spontaneous response. So I believe our discussion about supply is over. Can someone tell me? Okay, yeah, this is law of supply. We discussed our supply is over. Then what I understand from this graph, we started discussing your market equilibrium. Market equilibrium means when both demand and supply in a market, both demand and supply will be there. Now, when both demand and supply will be there, so when at a particular level, say suppose your price and quantity demanded is equal, at a particular price, quantity demanded and quantity supplied in a particular market will be equal. Then what happen? There will not be instability in the market. Indirectly, what we are talking about, last class we started discussing about market equilibrium. Market equilibrium refer to a state in the market when quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. And that is visible from your both demand and supply. When quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied, then there will be some stability, and that we refer to market equilibrium. So market equilibrium refer to a state in the market when quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. The price at which quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. Suppose say here it is suppose P1. This is the price at which quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. This is called equilibrium price. And this is called equilibrium quantity. Suppose this is your Q1, suppose. This is the quantity where demand is equal to supply. So this is equilibrium quantity and this is equilibrium price. Please remember this market equilibrium is different from consumer's equilibrium. Consumer's equilibrium you got in the context of indifference curve at the point of tangency between budget line and indifference curve. Okay, but market equilibrium refer to a state in the market where quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied, all other things are at certain level. Now, obviously, just like in demand and supply, we already discussed that market equilibrium we discuss in short run as well as long run by default. But this directly short run and long run, we are not saying it in that way. Rather, we are saying that we discuss this market equilibrium under your one is static condition, equilibrium under static condition or static economy. Okay, market equilibrium under your say static condition. Static condition means what? Under static condition. Static condition means everything is standstill. And another is market equilibrium under dynamic condition. Second one is market equilibrium under dynamic condition. First, I am explaining what is static condition. Static condition means everything is standstill. Consumer's taste and preference is not changing on and your say at macro level, number of organization in an economy is not changing. It's called savings and investment. These all are standstill. Standstill means constant. And that is possible when? Indirectly, what I'm saying is that that possibility will be there when you are considering a very short period. Right now, you are analyzing, suppose, demand. Then most of your parameters will be constant, fixed. And dynamic condition means everything is changing. Taste and preference may change, your income may change, whatever it is. Or your number of organization in an economy may change. Savings and investment may change. So everything may change, and that is possible when? That is possible when you are considering a long time period. Long time period means, say for example, you are considering a 5 years, 10 years, something like that. So most of your parameters or variables will be changing, and that we discuss it under demand as well as supply. Dynamic demand function means when you are considering a demand function where most of your parameters are changing, and that is possible when you are considering a long time period.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, like I did not understand why, when the demand is low, why should we supply more? Though the price is high, but the people
When
are not
demand is
buying.
when
When the
demand
demand
is
is low, like if we see when the price is more, demand is low, then why should we supply more when the demand is low, when people don't buy
so
it?
you are a producer. Suppose, wait. You are a producer. You are producing something and bringing it to sell into market. Market price is more. Market price is more. Cost of production and other things are, suppose you are producing a pen. So cost per unit, your profit is say 5 rupee. Market price of this pen is say 10 rupee. Cost of production is 5 rupee. Cost of production including your cost associated in bringing that product into market. Everything it includes. Now you brought it into market and selling it, per unit profit is 5 rupee, suppose. Now, because of some factor, suppose cost of production and other things are not changing, suppose market price is 12 rupee, hypothetical value. Per unit profit is now 7 rupee. What will you do? You ask yourself, what will you do? Will you not try to bring more quantity of your product into market?
Yes, sir, but if people don't buy, the product will be.
People don't buy, that issue will come later.
Okay.
Thinking that price is more, people will not buy. Because of that, I will not bring more quantity into that market. Will not be a foolish decision, because similar to you, there are other seller also, and they will take the advantage.
Yes, sir, got it.
You got it. So that step will come later on. That is important. But unless you face it, why you pre-assume it? Now, in case of pen, it is much more easier because it is not perishable. But things are much more complicated if it is things are much more complicated if it is a perishable item. Pen is a non-perishable item. It is not, quality is not deteriorating that much. Anyway, just wait, you will get gradually most of this answer. Gradually. So initially, yes.
So how is the market price determined? I mean, how is that the market price is increasing whereas the production cost remains the same? Like, how is the market price decided? Who decides it?
No. Say, for example, think about it. Have you seen our tech market in IIT Kharagpur or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I am giving you an example of vegetable market, suppose. So you went to market in tomato to purchase a tomato, but suppose there is a strike in some parts of West Midnapur in that district. Because of that supply, many of these farmers are not bringing tomato into market to sell. This is just a casual maybe factor I am talking about. Okay. So ultimately what will happen? Supply is not there, sufficient supply. Okay. So will that vegetable seller not try to take the advantage, or today's supply is not there, okay, increase the price. Consumers are bound to purchase.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting my point? So
Yes.
these are the market forces. There are n number of factors. There are things are much more interesting as well as complicated also. I am not sure whether how much Professor Nayak will be able to go in his price and output determination under different market. What you are asking me this question, that is a very important series of lecture under different market condition, how price and outputs are decided. I'm telling you, these are very, very interesting, but unfortunately, how much time I will, I'm not sure actually how much will be the coverage. I am teaching that one in business economics, in other subjects, in other batch. But these are important because there are cartel formation is coming into picture. Means some of these businessmen are joining together, and they are artificially increasing the price. Okay, there are different government regulation is also there. Price discrimination issue will be there, that there is a, suppose one seller, I am charging different price to different consumer. You remember a consumer surplus in demand at the beginning of demand I discussed, might be that diagram might be somewhere here also, maybe I'm not sure. Maybe we're discussing. Yeah, it consumer surplus, you see this diagram. This concept will come into picture even there. And anyway, let me go. Automatically, things will be clear gradually. But okay, now what you need to know simply that market equilibrium we discuss under static condition as well as dynamic condition. Static means your everything is standstill. Means things are mostly in short run, and that kind of things are possible only in short run. Suppose this is your PX and QX. Suppose this is your demand curve, this is your supply, suppose. Now, suppose in such a situation, most of the things are constant. Suppose in such a situation, suppose initial price is suppose P1, because of some external factor, most of the things are, because we are talking a short run, most of the factors are at constant level, at certain level. Because of some factor, suppose slightly price increase. Say price increase from P1 to P2. At higher price, what is happening? Demand will be less, supply will be more. So what will happen in market? Surplus supply, because supply is more, demand is less at higher price. When surplus supply is there, surplus supply means what? Unsold stock is there in market. Unsold products are there in market. So when such kind of situation will be, immediately price will come down. Immediately price will come down. So although in such kind of situation, although there may be change in price, but market forces will quickly react to that such kind of change, and ultimately price will come back to your equilibrium price. Okay, and because of that, this is called, now right now I am discussing equilibrium under static condition. So here, equilibrium under static condition, you will find three different kind of equilibrium. One is stable equilibrium. Stable equilibrium. Under static condition. Okay. Here, although equilibrium was disturbed initially, but immediately it is again coming back to your original equilibrium position. Because of that, it is called stable equilibrium. And you remember, I already discussed the basic concept in last class. Discussed the basic concept in last class, that is your supply is a lag function of price. Okay. Price will decide tomorrow's supply, how much quantity I will bring tomorrow into market. This is yesterday's price decided today's supply. Today's supply is suppose QX or QT. QT or QX. X is the quantity, name of the commodity. Suppose QT means today's quantity supplied. Today's quantity supplied is having a link with yesterday's price. And today's price will decide tomorrow's quantity supply, QT plus 1. Today's price will decide how much quantity I will supply into this one. But in case of demand, it is spontaneous. Remember, already I explained, I do not want to waste again time. If someone is not clear, go through my video, it will be clear what was discussed it in last class. So this is because of that stable equilibrium. Now, second case. Second one is unstable equilibrium. Unstable under static economy. So what is happening here under unstable equilibrium? Suppose supply curve is like this, demand curve is as usual negatively sloped, but here one exception you observe probably, that is supply curve is negatively sloped. Initial equilibrium position is like this. Suppose this is P1, suppose. Supply curve is negatively sloped. Now question arises that when supply curve may be negatively sloped, because in normal situation you observe even here in this diagram, supply curve is positively sloped, and law of supply already explained that one. At higher price, you are as a producer, you are trying to supply more. But in this case, I am drawing a negatively sloped supply curve, and that represents an exception to the law of supply, and exceptions may happen only at a certain period of time, not always happening. It is not always happening. Means at higher price, something, whatever you are supplying less and less. At higher price, you are supplying less and less. At higher price, you are supplying less and less. This is the case. Now, can you give an example of that? Quickly, if you like to respond. Otherwise, I will not wait much. I will answer. Okay. So I'm giving you an example, or maybe in other section also I give already. That is covered already. Suppose I am a farmer located in a rural area, and I produce, suppose, rice, 10 tons of rice. Out of these 10 tons, I keep 4 tons for my family consumption, and 6 tons I already sold out in market. Okay, that is I already sold out in market, surplus amount. Now I am having 4 tons in my warehouse, and that I kept it for my family consumption. But because of some emergency, I need some money. And that money I am not, suppose 10,000 rupee I need it, and that money I am not getting from my family also or relatives. So one of that easy way of managing that 10,000 rupee immediate requirement is by selling some quantity of rice in open market. Rice means in paddy, it is in raw form. It is yet to be polished. Now, this is the situation, suppose, and it usually happen in rural area. But remember, if I sell this certain quantity, whatever quantity, if I sell it in market, after some time, I have to again purchase that rice in open market, and in open market price will be much higher. In open market price will be much higher, and because of that I will be in a difficult situation. But right now, as I need the money, I have no other option but to sell that rice. So suppose per kg of rice, that raw form paddy, per kg of paddy is suppose 10 rupee. So what I'm doing is I'm simply selling 1 ton of my rice from my stock. 1 ton of rice, I sold it out at the rate of 10 rupee per kg, and I raised 10,000 rupee in that way. Okay, but if price of that raw rice or paddy is not 10 rupee per kg price is suppose 20 rupee. Instead of 1 ton, I will sell only 500 kg. I will sell only 500 kg because my immediate requirement is 10,000. And I am very much aware that whatever I am selling it now, tomorrow at much higher price, I have to purchase it from market. Because there is always a, those who might be visited some current foreign countries, maybe if you are going for a conversion, even there are buying and selling, two different rates are there, even in exchange, for foreign currency. Think about this one, value. So usually it happens. It's a much higher price, he or she may be required to purchase in later stage. So in this case also it is happening. If market price of that product is 30 rupee, not even I will sell 500 kg. The farmer will sell only maybe 333 kg or something like that. So in that way, the farmer is managing. So in this case, at higher price, you are selling at higher price, you are selling less and less. But if price is less and less, you need to sell more because you need to recover or you need to raise 10,000 rupees. So if price is less, you are selling more. If price is more, you are selling less. Similarly, you can give an example of a labor, suppose selling of your labor service. Suppose you are a person who prefer leisure over work. You are a person who prefer leisure over work. Might be you are having some health problem or something, XYZ might be. And because of that, what happened? You all the time you prefer to take rest instead of working. Might be your health is not permitting. Somehow right now you are working 8 hours at the rate of say 25 rupee per hour. So 8 hours you are working and you are earning 200 rupee. Okay. Or suppose it will be much more better. So suppose per hour your labor service is 50 rupee. So you are working 8 hours. So you are earning 400 rupee per day. And you feel under your health condition and considering all this, you feel that and your expenditure and you feel that 400 rupee earning is enough for you. Rather, you need more rest if possible. But right now, as you need 400 rupee, which you feel is comfortable earning for you at the rate of say 50 rupee per hour. So for multiplied by 8 hours, so you are earning 400 in that way. Now, suppose your labor service increase, price of your labor service increase from 50 to 100. Instead of 8 hours, if under this situation, you will work only 4 hours because you are giving rest because of your health condition or might be because of your nature. You are a person who prefer leisure over work. So in this case, price, if it is becoming say 200 rupee, some of you might be working only 2 hours. So in this case, what is happening? Price of your labor service is increasing, but quantity you supply or number of hours you usually work, that is decreasing from 8 hours to 4 hours, 4 hours to 2 hours. So at higher price, you are supplying less and less quantity of labor services. At lower price, you are supplying more and more quantity of labor services. So this may be an example of exception to your supply. Now here, suppose because of some factor, price increase from P1 to P2. P1 to P2. When it happened, you see here, supply will be represented by supply curve. Supply becomes suppose Q1. And demand will be represented by demand curve. Demand is Q2. When price increase from P1 to P2, supply is OQ1, demand is OQ2. There is a shortage of supply. When shortage of supply is there in market, what will happen? Price will go up further. price will go up further means price go up to suppose P3. Suppose this is P3. Price went up. When price increase further, this increase again, this demand supply gap again widened. Means demand is much more than supply. So indirectly what I am saying is once in this unstable equilibrium, once your equilibrium position is disturbed, it is very difficult to come back to your original equilibrium position. It is almost impossible. Because of that, it is called unstable equilibrium under static condition. Unstable equilibrium under static condition. Once your equilibrium position is disturbed, then what happens? The gap between demand and supply is further increased. Demand is much higher than supply, and because of that, once this is happening, it is very difficult to come back to your original equilibrium position. And because of that, it is called unstable equilibrium under static condition. And remember, such kind of situation is happening only sometime. And third one is your neutral equilibrium. Third one is your neutral equilibrium. Neutral equilibrium. So what is happening here in neutral equilibrium? When demand and supply curve coincide over a range of price or quantity. Suppose this is your demand curve and this is your supply. What is happening? Over a range of price. Over a range of price in this diagram, over a range of price, they coincide. Over a range of price, demand and supply curve coincides. When demand and supply curve coincide over a range of this price, in this particular range, although there may be change in price, there is no change in equilibrium position. Although there may be change in price in this particular range, but there will not be change in equilibrium position. Equilibrium position remain neutral in this particular range. And this diagram, same diagram, you can draw it in other way also, like in this way. In this way, one is say supply and this one is suppose demand curve. In this case, over a range of quantity, although over a range of this quantity, although equilibrium, your equilibrium position may change, there will not be change in price, even equilibrium price. So because of that, this is called neutral equilibrium, means your equilibrium position remain neutral in that particular range. When demand and supply curve coincide over a range of price or over a range of quantity, then what will happen? Although there may be change in price or quantity, but equilibrium position is not changing. This is called neutral equilibrium under static condition. These are three different case of equilibrium under static condition. But what is happening under dynamic condition? Because that is more important for us, because here in real life, most of the things are changing. Each and every moment, most of the things are changing. So when it is changing, so it is very difficult to find a constant things. So dynamic condition we discuss with the help of your Cobb-Webb theorem. Cobb-Webb theorem. With the help of Cobb-Webb theorem, we discuss dynamic condition, means equilibrium under dynamic condition or dynamic economy. Similar to this one, this we discuss with the help of Cobb-Webb theorem. And here also you will find three different kind of equilibrium. One is stable equilibrium. Stable equilibrium. So under, as usual, under dynamic condition, stable equilibrium under dynamic condition. Okay, so what is happening here? And this all equilibrium here we discuss with the help of Cobb-Wave theorem. So now I am going to explain it. When you will get this stable equilibrium under dynamic condition, when slope of demand curve is less than slope of supply curve. When slope of demand curve is less than, suppose I am drawing a demand curve and supply curve is something like this. Initial equilibrium position is, suppose price is equilibrium price is initial equilibrium price is P3 and equilibrium quantity is Q3. Okay, right now you are here. So what it says, when slope of demand curve is less than slope of supply curve, the system is convergent and equilibrium is stable. Because I am discussing stable equilibrium under dynamic condition. Dynamic condition means everything is changing. Indirectly, I'm talking about a long run situation for a long time period where most of your parameter may change. So here you will find three different kind of equilibrium. First one is stable equilibrium under dynamic condition. Here, when slope of demand curve is less than slope of supply curve, the equilibrium is stable, the system is convergent and equilibrium is stable. Now, see here, initially your equilibrium position is here. You can name it also like E or something like that. And equilibrium price is P3 and equilibrium quantity is Q3. Okay, now suppose because of some factor, price increase from say your P3 to say P, say 5 or P6, suppose price increase from P3 to P6 at time period T. Suppose T is the today. Today, suppose because of some factor, price increase, like our example of tomato. At certain stage today, I give it that example. Because of some factor, suppose it is a dynamic condition, long time period. Suppose price increase today at time period T, today price increase to P3 to P6. Price increase in market. What will happen? As you know, demand is spontaneous. So when at higher price, immediately demand decrease. Demand decrease or demand come down to, immediately demand come down to, suppose Q1. Price increase from P3 to P6, immediately demand come down from Q3, or Q3 was the original or equilibrium quantity. Now that demand, origin demand was Q3, at Q3, that demand immediately decreased to Q1 at time period T in today's market. At higher price, demand decrease. Because today's supply was less, because of some factor, supply was not sufficient. Because of that, immediately price went up to P6. So whatever product was brought into that market, everything was sold out because today's supply was less. And at higher price, demand came down to OK1. When price increase, this price mechanism, you should know it. When price increase, what happened exactly? Already in consumer surplus, I explained it. At higher price, some of that existing consumer cannot afford that higher price. Because of that, they will be out from the market, out from the purchasing activity. Out from the market means they will stop purchasing. Meaning is like that, at higher price, because they cannot afford anymore that price. This is one. But at the same time, it may happen sometime that some of that existing consumer who are right now purchasing, they will at higher price, they will also start purchasing, but at lesser quantity. They will continue their purchase, but at much lesser quantity. I believe you can hear me as well as you are seeing that Microsoft whiteboard where I am drawing it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today, what happened ultimately, whatever brought into that market, suppose I used to purchase maybe 5 kg of tomato earlier for my business activity or something, but at higher price, today I purchase only 2 kg. Somehow I try to manage it. Okay, these are fluctuating in nature. These are very, very fluctuating in nature, this kind of price, particularly this perishable product, perishable market. Every day, depending upon your supply, it's it. Okay, today it happened that price went up, demand decreased to OK1. But what will happen to supply tomorrow? You remember, today's price will decide tomorrow's supply. Already I explained in our price lag, this one, time lag. There is a time lag. Today, when price is P6 in market, this will attract, I am a supplier. Today I could not supply because there is a processing time involved. So although price went up today, I could not supply sufficient amount because coming back to my home, harvesting my tomato from field, cleaning it, grading it, and bringing it to market. By that time, market will be over. I could not do it. But definitely, when price is P6, all other things are more or less same. What will I try to do as a supplier? I will try to supply more, but that will happen only tomorrow. Tomorrow means at T+1 time period. When price is P6, I will try to supply this much. Supply will be represented by supply curve. Suppose supply is tomorrow at T+1 time period. Tomorrow my supply will be Q6. This is tomorrow's supply. Okay. But as long as price is P6, demand remain Q1. As long as price is P6, demand is Q1. Because demand will be represented by demand curve. So tomorrow in market, what will happen? Because price is P6, tomorrow initially what will happen? Supply is OQ6, demand is OQ1. Supply is more than demand. Supply is more than demand. What will happen in market? Tomorrow, same day, T+1 time period. What will happen in market? Can you respond quickly? Supply is more than demand tomorrow at T+1 time period, means unsold stock is there in market. Supply is more than demand. Yeah, pardon?
Demand will increase.
How come demand will increase? Price is P6. Demand will be represented by Q1.
Sorry, price will decrease.
Price will decrease.
Price will decrease to 0 or what?
To the previous equilibrium price, maybe.
Any other answer? What is the mechanism actually? Price will decrease, okay, no doubt, because supply is more than demand. Price will decrease, no doubt. That is clear. I believe that is clear to all, because in T+1 time period, supply is Q6, demand is OQ1, so unsold stock is there in market, so price will come down. Now the issue is, I am a supplier or I am a seller, I am bringing something to market to sell, and whatever I am doing it for profit. This is a business. This is my business. For profit only I am doing something. So I am not doing any social service. So if this is the case, then obviously I will not be happy to bring price down to zero. I will not bring it down, because if I start distributing my product free of cost, I will be at loss, and I am for profit only. I am doing a business. So in this case, what is going to happen ultimately? You see the market. No one is doing it, but gradually what will happen? I will bring my price little bit down. In that way, I will see the response. No one is doing it because they are having some idea. Regularly, they are observing it. So ultimately, what is happening? End of the day, the end result is, because whatever my objective is what? Remember, this is a perishable product. I do not have a cold storage or warehouse which temperature regulation and so and so. So I do not have that one. So my objective is whatever I brought into that market, I want to sell it. Same is the case for other seller also of that same product. So what I will do it, I will bring down that price in such a way that whatever was brought into that market, everything is sold out. Means I will bring down that price to this point. Means indirectly, I am bringing down this price to P1, suppose. When price is coming P1, coming down to P1, demand is spontaneous. Already I explained. Demand, price decrease, immediately demand will go up. So at P1, demand went up immediately to Q6. On that day, at T+1 time period, supply was also Q6, demand is also Q6. So whatever was brought into that market, everything is sold out. But now price is P1. Remember, price came down from P6 to P1. Today's story is over. We are discussing a dynamic condition, long time period. Okay, it's a continuous process. Okay, now what will happen tomorrow? Because today's price is ultimately in market is P1. Today's price will decide tomorrow's supply. So at P1, which is less than P3, P3 is the original equilibrium price. Current market price is even lower than P3, original equilibrium price. So as a supplier, P1 is not attractive to me. I'm not very much interested. I'm not happy actually, because price came down to P1, and there is some background, because if I do not bring it down, there will be unsold stock in market. There I have to dump it in dustbin. So it was brought down to P1, and whatever was brought into that market, everything is sold out. If you go to market, particularly around 12, 12:30, or maybe around 12, you will find in perishable or fresh vegetable market, you will find different products are selling at much lower price, because no one is having that kind of patience, as well as there is guarantee that he or she will be able to sell those products. So at lower price also they are selling it anyway. So in this case, this P1 is not attractive because it is less than P3. So tomorrow means at T+2 time period, I will try to supply less quantity. Less quantity means supply will be represented by supply curve. Tomorrow, because today's market price was P1, tomorrow, considering this one, today's market price will decide tomorrow's supply. So tomorrow I bring down my supply to Q2. I supplied less tomorrow in market. Tomorrow means T+2 time period in this case, next day. These are symbolic. T+1 is time period is 1. It may be different time period also, but this represents different time period. So tomorrow, your market supply was only OQ2. But remember, as long as price is P1, demand is OQ6. Demand is here, supply is here, means demand supply is OQ2, demand is OQ6. There is a shortage of supply. This much Q2, Q6 is the shortage of supply. When shortage of supply will be there, tomorrow means T plus 2 time period. Next day means shortage of supply is there, immediately price went up here. Pardon? Immediately price went up to here because there is a shortage of supply. This is suppose P5, suppose. Immediately price went up to P5 at T plus 2 time period. Okay. Immediately price went up. When price went up, demand decreased immediately, but whatever you brought into that market at T plus 2 time period, everything is sold out. This is at T plus 2 time period. Demand is Q2, supply is also Q2. At T plus 2 time period, whatever is brought, this was sold out. But this is not again an equilibrium position because it is not bringing any stability. Temporary stability you brought it only for T plus 2 time period, but this is not bringing any permanent stability. Because, why? Because this P5 is more than P3. P5 price is higher than original equilibrium price of P3. If it is higher, it is more attractive to me as a supplier. As a supplier, it is more attractive to me. So what I will try to do next day means T plus 3 time period. Next day, what I will try to do, I will try to supply here. I will try to supply more. And that supply may be represented by maybe Q5. So next day at T plus 3 time period, again, it is a repetition. Supply is more than demand. Demand is OQ2, supply is OQ5. So there is a surplus supply. Immediately, T plus 3 time period, price will come down. So if you look at your, say, movement, if you look at your movement, originally you are here. If you look at your movement, you move in this way, you are moving, then you move in this way, you move. So you see, you are converging towards origin. In that way, after a few period, what will happen? If you look at carefully, after a few period, you will again going back to your original equilibrium position. Exactly. Your market forces, demand and supply will respond or react to each other in such a way that after some time, you are going back to your original equilibrium position. Initially, though, there was a disturbance in equilibrium position, but after some time, you are going back to your, again, original equilibrium position. Because of that, it is called stable equilibrium under dynamic condition. That here, instability may be there, but after some time, you are again going back to your original equilibrium position. And this is happening when slope of demand curve is less than slope of supply curve. You see that diagram. If you draw it carefully, automatically you will get this one. But remember, you have to also capture that supply is a lag function of price, whereas in case of demand change in demand is spontaneous. You have to remember that one. And time period is dynamic, it is different time period you are considering. So initially what is happening, when slope of demand curve is less than slope of supply curve, system is convergent. Here you see, you are converging towards origin. So system is convergent and equilibrium is stable. Means instability may be there, but immediately after a few time period, time lag, time period, you are reaching again to your original equilibrium. Because of that, it is called stable equilibrium under dynamic condition. Clear? I believe it is clear.
Sir, I did not understand. stable equilibrium under static condition is different from this. How does the market price immediately come to the previous equilibrium price there?
Pardon?
That how does the market price come to the equilibrium price immediately? Like that should also oscillate in this way.
But
How is
here it is time period. Here it is time period is very short. If there is any change, if there is any change, if there is any change in price, suppose price increase, when price increase, supplier will try to supply more. But in case of static condition, what happen if such kind of change is very minimum and there is a minor change in minor instability in equilibrium, then only it is happening. Say for example, I found that somehow I got a clue that okay, today price is more. If possible, I will try to supply immediately within a half an hour or 50 minutes. Maybe somehow I manage it. If such kind of possibility is there, then only that stability will come. Because at higher price, so in this case, suppose price increase, demand is more than supply. When unsold stock is there, immediately they will try to sell it at lower price. Ultimately, price will come down. This is in same day, in same market, within certain time period, this is happening. But in case of dynamic condition, you are considering altogether different time lag, different time period. In my example, I mentioned today, tomorrow, and so. Because here I am considering strictly one condition, that is your processing time. Processing time. That I am
yes.
considering it here. Because say, for example, a pen, suppose it is a non-perishable, but still, if you consider a pen, suppose, that pen also may involve, say, 1 day processing time. Although today market price may be high, but starting from manufacturing or preparing or producing more number of pen, packaging, bringing it into market, you need some time. And that was indirectly different time period is coming into picture, means ultimately dynamic condition is coming into picture. And we are more concerned about dynamic condition because it is much closer to your reality. Because in real life, what is happening? So many factors are changing simultaneously. Okay.
Yes, I got it.
Now, second case is just reverse. Reverse means unstable equilibrium. Unstable equilibrium under dynamic condition. Here, today I am not going to discuss it because time is very less, but I am giving you a hint, or rather I am drawing the diagram, and later on I will just explain it. I am drawing it here, just basic drawing. When slope of demand curve is more than slope of supply curve, suppose this is your demand curve, this is your supply curve. So when slope of demand curve is more than slope of supply curve, the system is divergent and equilibrium is unstable. Suppose here also I am just drawing two cases. One is P3, one is Q3. How I am drawing it? I am keeping it when slope of demand curve is more than slope of supply curve, system is divergent and equilibrium is unstable. Means once equilibrium is disturbed here, some temporary stability may be there in some other places, but not in original equilibrium position. You are not going to come back to your original equilibrium position under this condition. Similar way I will explain it quickly, but next class I will be very quick, because if it is clear, it will be much more easier for you. So this one is unstable equilibrium. Next class, I will just discuss it with you. If you have any question, you can ask me. Let me save this one first. let me download your attendance sheet again. I believe it is downloaded. Okay. If you have any question, you can. Otherwise, let me stop my recording.